I think it's right, and I think it's smart, and I'm glad that we're doing it together.
Turning the tables tonight, the tri-state governors put new restrictions on travelers from COVID hotspots. And party foul, the health warning in our area tonight as COVID cases spike among young people who are out looking for summer fun. Plus, a new phase for those living on Long Island. Phase 3 is here. What this means for businesses and the other regions now set to enter Phase 4. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Natalie Pascarella.
And I'm Chuck Scarborough. In just hours, New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut are going to require travelers coming from 9 COVID hot zones to quarantine for 14 days to prevent a possible second wave. Alabama, Arkansas, Arizona, Florida, the Carolinas, Washington, Utah, Texas are all seeing cases spike. Travelers from those states who don't quarantine could be fined. Now, this comes as the nation recorded 35,000 new confirmed cases yesterday, the third highest daily total of the pandemic. Now, more states could be added to the tri-state quarantine list. Right now, at least 27 states are seeing a rise in cases from last week. News 4's Andrew Siff is live at LaGuardia Airport, where the travelers could feel the impact from this quarantine in just about 6 hours. Andrew?
Right, Chuck. This order takes effect at 11:59 p.m. And Governor Cuomo made clear today that it's not like passengers coming off of flights will have to sign a logbook or have troops talking to them. That, he said, would be like a federal blockade. Instead, this is something where travelers are going to be asked to isolate themselves. Passengers arriving at LaGuardia this afternoon made it just hours before the new quarantine requires them to self-isolate for 14 days.
This is, I guess, a good thing. We have to control it.
Jill Lofren from Houston, Texas, where COVID cases are rising fast. That's one of 9 states where at least 10% of residents are testing positive.
People coming in from states that have a high infection rate must quarantine.
Governor Cuomo announced the new quarantine guidelines today, with his tri-state counterparts joining by video.
We have taken our people, the three of us, these 3 states, through hell and back.
We reluctantly came to the conclusion that this is what we've got to do.
Some passengers we spoke with are New Yorkers who only left to visit family, supportive of the new restrictions.
We don't want this all over again. I mean, New York's been very tense. We want the thing to go back to normal.
And while I asked Cuomo if he's got business on board,
has your office reached out to the airlines, JetBlue, Delta, etc., to encourage them to make announcements on flights from Florida?
Yes. Oh, no, people will know about it. There's no doubt about that.
He also said he's not asking troops or police to enforce the new rules.
Yeah, you can violate the quarantine until you get caught. And then when you get caught, you're in mandatory quarantine and you're fined thousands of dollars.
Now, in an unusual twist, President Trump is scheduled to visit New Jersey this weekend, and the president was just in Arizona, which is one of the states on the new quarantine list, but a White House spokesman said this shouldn't impact the president's travel because everyone around the president is constantly tested for COVID. We're live at LaGuardia tonight. Andrew Siff, News 4 New York.
All right, Andrew, thanks for the latest there. Well, people who live on Long Island are excited. Nassau and Suffolk counties entered Phase 3 of reopening today, so this means people can dine indoors, go to a nail salon or a spa, even get some new ink at a tattoo shop. News 4's Paisy Chang is live in Hicksville with the new safety measures that go along with this new phase. Paisy.
Yeah, Natalie, as you can see, tons of people out here eating on the outdoor patio, but also this dining room inside is filling up. Check this out. We've got a lot of people here at these tables. This very early at 6 o'clock. They say they have plenty of other reservations as well. There are rules, though. Inside here, it's reservation only, and there's a 2-hour limit to your time at the table.
Patrizia's restaurant in Hicksville kicked off Phase 3 with some fanfare. They have been offering takeout and outdoor dining, but sitting inside will have a different feel.
Right now, we're doing everything we can to follow the guidelines and keep everybody, safe, keep the place clean, keep the tables distanced. All our workers are coming in every day. We're monitoring them.
BK Sweeney's and Bethpage welcome customers inside their restaurant as well on the 100th day since the restaurant shut down in March. When we asked if people were ready to dine inside.
Why not? If I make the reservation and it's with caution, I will go to eat out in a restaurant. But not with a place that is very crowded.
Not as long as we have the 6 feet, the distance, the social distances. No, definitely not.
Phase 3 also means nail salons and spas can reopen. At Bestie's Nails in Williston Park, people keep calling for an appointment, but they can only take a few people at a time.
When everybody come in, we have hand sanitizer. They have to wear masks, and we have everything ready for them and prepared so they can be safe.
I'm certainly happy. It's been a long 3 months.
Customers seemed reassured by all the safety measures in place. Mandatory mask wearing, dividers at the manicure stations, and signs reminding people to keep social distance, like Susan Kelly and her daughter, who have waited 3 months for a mani-pedi.
I think everybody is taking, precautions, cleaning places, and I think we need to move on.
Now, employees are required to wear a mask throughout their entire shift, and before they come into work, they're supposed to have their temperature taken. Also, a new innovation is these tables need to be spaced out 6 feet apart, but if you can't do that, then you must install a partition. We're live from Hicksville tonight. Paisley Chang, News 4 New York.
All right, Pacey, thank you. And of course, while Long Island's at phase 3, the city has just entered phase 2, but some parts of the state are moving on to phase 4. The areas in green, central New York, Mohawk Valley, North Country, the southern tier, and the Finger Lakes regions, slated to start the final stage of reopening on Friday. Now, that means low-risk outdoor venues, including zoos and botanical gardens, are going to reopen at 33% capacity. Low-risk indoor spots like museums and aquariums will be limited to 28% capacity as they reopen. Film production, higher education, and professional sports without fans can also continue. However, malls and movie theaters and gyms, which were supposed to be in the 4th stage, are not included right now.
Well, Chuck, a number of indoor activities will open in New Jersey next week on July 2nd. Museums, aquariums, indoor recreation facilities like bowling alleys and arcades, and libraries will open. Now, gyms and fitness centers will be allowed to hold individualized training sessions, but they have to be by appointment only.
Well, health officials in New Jersey are seeing what they call a concerning pattern of cases among young people. Cases are rising quickly. People between the ages of 18 and 29 now account for almost a quarter of new COVID-19 cases in the state. In April, it was just 12%. And if this turns into a trend, New Jersey's reopening could be paused. News 4's Brian Thompson has the latest along the Jersey Shore. Brian?
It was scenes like this at Donovan's Reef in Seabright this past weekend that had raised fears of a spike in COVID-19 in New Jersey. Young people partying without social distancing, without masks, essentially like there was no tomorrow.
Is anybody worried about social distancing? No.
State health officials also fearing beach gatherings could be a cause of the increase in 18 to 29-year-olds becoming a larger percentage of COVID cases.
No one's invincible. Thank God the loss of life is a lot less, but there is loss of life, and there are clearly positives. So, folks, please, 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 especially when you're indoors, do the right thing.
These 3 18-year-old Wayne Valley High School graduates have had little chance to socialize these past few months. It couldn't stay that way forever.
I think it's pretty hard, especially because it's our senior year, so we're not going to see each other for a while afterwards, after summer, when we go to college.
Young people out having fun is causing concern across the country. Most of the new cases in Texas are people under 30, and in Florida.
Half of these positive tests are in that 34 and under age group, and the bulk of the tests that we're seeing are really the 25 to 34-year-olds.
In New Jersey, as bars like DJ's and Belmar are being singled out by the governor for failing social distancing guidelines this past weekend, there is evidence the message is getting through.
I think it's kind of crazy that people will do stuff like that and not really social distance with that big of a group.
You won't do it?
No.
Scenes like this at Donovan's a turnoff to Ellie Field.
When I see it, I just get confused, why you would put yourself at risk like that.
The risk of gatherings real now, according to state data. The governor promising a crackdown if it continues, and it might.
If I get corona, I get corona.
Down the Jersey Shore, Brian Thompson, News 4 New York.
All right, a way to cool off is on the way to the city. City beaches will reopen for swimming next week. Mayor de Blasio announced today that the beaches can open next Wednesday with rules, of course. You have to practice social distancing or wear a face covering if you cannot.